Please welcome Team Japan.
L'équipe japonaise.
Yuto Araki, Haruki Suyama. Please welcome Team People's Republic of China.
Représentant la République populaire de Chine, Long Dawi Wang Zhongwan.
Please welcome Team Great Britain.
Représentant la Grande-Bretagne.
Anthony Hardy, Jack Law. Diving fans, these are your athletes competing in the men's 3-meter championship final.
Mesdames et messieurs, voici vos finalistes pour l'épreuve des hommes synchronisés au tremplin de 3 mètres.
The men's 3-meter synchro event coming up very shortly. It's always our pleasure to introduce our officials for these events. Our referee is Francine Lavoie. Our assistant referee, Sarah Toth.
Et maintenant, nos juges pour l'exécution. Juge numéro 1, Victoria Tomlinson. Juge numéro 2, Mei Nakagawa. Juge numéro 3, Aaron Barrett. Juge numéro 4, Holger Schleps. Juge numéro 5, Raoul Lang. Et juge numéro 6, Hugo Parisi.
Our synchronization judges, there are 5 of them. Elena Pazzarina, Maria Maru.
More diving
Anya
coming up here out of Montreal for the World Aquatics Diving World Cup. Alex DePazzi and Jennifer Abel here.
Hi.
Hello, my dear.
How are you?
Very good. We are about to watch the men's 3-meter synchronized event. 10 teams will be taking part. No Canadians are competing in this event. Of course, one team to look out will be Team China.
For sure. Great team.
Always very, very good in all of the diving events. In the first leg of the World Cup season in Xi'an, China, they won all the events. So we can expect some high level of competition from the Chinese team for this event. Great Britain also with Jack Law, Olympic bronze medalist in the individual event, silver medalist in the synchronized event from the Budapest 2022 World Championships. This should be a great event for him and Anthony Harding, his partner. Massive crowd here today, a lot of Chinese diving fans. Many of them from the Chinese community here from Montreal have answered the call and are here to enjoy some amazing diving.
To be honest, Alex, I don't remember the last time they had so many people come here watch diving.
You're absolutely right. I think this is the biggest crowd I've ever seen at a diving competition here in Montreal. So our sport is very healthy.
Yes.
The first 2 rounds of dives will be the simpler ones. 2.0 degree of difficulty for all the dives. Team France warming up here. Some of the divers deciding to use the hot tub to get going.
Was it your type to go there?
I did not use the hot tub very much, no.
No? What would you do?
I would go, there's showers as well, right? So I would go there just a little quickly, just to get wet. You know, you want to get wet before each dive. I love that makes you laugh because you did exactly the same.
Exactly.
We're just about to get underway here with the men's 3-meter synchronized diving. Very high degree of difficulty coming up in the last 4 rounds of this event. We usually say starting round 3, that is when the real diving gets going.
And it's going to be very interesting because many divers are doing big dives.
And so the first 2 rounds, we're looking at the elegance, the finesse. You want to be really precise in every movement.
Quality of the entries, it's always important.
And let's get underway here with Team USA, and they will start their competition with a back dive pike. Greg Duncan and Tyler Downs.
Great start, great start. You will be able to see a little distraction from Greg, who is on the right of the screen. Right here, he did touch his leg, but his arms weren't close to his legs, so that created a big mistake.
And I think he put his arms out because he knew it was way too fast for
Too
a back
much
dive.
speed,
Too much
exactly.
speed, too much energy for the start of the event. 6 and 8.5 for execution, 7.5 for synchronization.
It's always hard to be the first team because you're always nervous. You don't know when the competition's gonna start, so you have to manage that.
There's no rhythm yet to how long you're going to wait in between dives. Here comes Team Spain, Nicolas Garcia-Boissier and Adrian Abadia. They will also be starting the event with a back dive pike position. Arturo Miranda, the coach, formerly from Canada, now coaching in Spain.
Beautiful,
Very nice.
beautiful. Great start for them. The synchronization was very good. You can see here that they both touched their toes, they touched their legs, and that's a signature of Arturo Miranda.
They have very similar technique, which is good for synchronized diving because it makes it easier for the judges to see only one diver when it's done well.
And that's what we are looking for, especially in that event that it's called synchronized diving.
48.60 to kick off the event. Good start for Spain. Next up, the pair of Lars Rudiger and Timo Bartel of Germany. Also a back dive pike position, 2.0 for them.
Timo Bartel, who is right now on your right, is a former platform diver. Good dive, very good dive, especially the quality of the entry that was very good.
Very precise in the movement.
You can see now they touch their legs and they open. A little distraction with the arms right here. Timo was a little bit faster than his synchro partner, but in general, it's a very good dive.
8.5 for synchronization, 8 for execution. Coaches here addressing the distance between the divers. That is something that the judges never miss. Here comes Team Ukraine, Danilo Konovalov and Oleg Kolody. They will be doing a forward 1.5 pike position.
Okay, so big distraction here, and sometimes I don't understand why they want to do a front 1.5. They can just simply do a dive,
It's
easy
not
dive.
necessary to add a flip here.
Yes, because all the DDs are the same. So here we can see that Oleg, who is on the left, jumped higher, and his synchro partner was in trouble. So that's a big mistake because he was lower than his synchro partner.
7.5, 8 for execution, 8s and 7.5 for synchronization as well. Trying to get that rhythm together right off the start of the event. Team Australia now with Li Shixin, formerly a diver from China, 36 years old. That's almost like if I was diving in this event, and that's just scary. His synchro partner, Samuel Fricker. And their first dive is a back dive pike position.
Okay, a little distraction on the timing. Sometimes divers wants to use a different technique, and you can see that Lee was way too fast compared to his Synchro partner right here. He's also lower, so the judges will deduct for that.
And in the synchronized events, it's really important to pay attention to your partner. You really have to know what kind of movement they're doing on your side vision. You can see here that it didn't adapt to the same rhythm. Here comes Italy, Giovanni Tocci and Lorenzo Marsaglia. They will also be doing a back dive pike position.
Beautiful. The quality
nice.
of the entry was very good. I feel like it was a little distraction when they both went off. So right here, I feel like Giovanni, who is on the right, was a little higher compared to his Synchro partner, but in general, it was a great dive.
Such a small detail. The judges only get to see the dive once. They don't have a replay like we do here on television. 49.80 for their first dive. Lorenzo proudly wearing the Olympic rings tattooed on his arm. Quite the common thing for athletes. Here comes Team France, Alexis Gendard and Jules Boyer. They will be doing the exact same dive.
Okay, a little distraction.
Good save at the
Good
end.
save, yes. Alexis was gonna go over. So if we pay attention to the replay, Alexis was on the left. You can see that he has too much rotation and land a little bit over, but he did a great job by working that entry.
It's all about lining your feet up to the ceiling to find that vertical. They know they saved the damage here. 49.20 for Team France.
For us on springboard, it was always above 49. It was a great dive.
Puts you in contention to be competitive for the rest of the event. Here comes Team Japan of Haruki Tsuyama and Yuto Araki. Also doing a back dive pike position.
Great save.
Very
also,
nice
yeah,
synchronization.
Very nice synchronization. I feel like maybe the one on the left was a little bit faster right here for his come out, but it's to be really picky. And also the one on the right was a little bit short, so I would appreciate for him to be a little bit more vertical.
8.5s for synchronization, 7.5 and 8.5 on the execution. The judges did not miss what you were telling us, Jen. All the scores very tight in the first round. Here comes Team China of Dao Yilong and Zhonghuan Wang. They will also be doing a back dive pike position.
Chinese team has so many divers. New faces right here.
Zhonghuan Wang is a world champion from Budapest 2022 in the individual event.
Okay, that was very good, but if you pay attention to the diver on the left, he didn't touch his toe, and that's probably because he had too much speed. So right here, when you're supposed to touch your toe, he went super fast, and he did his come out, but the rest was very good, very tight on the quality and the entry, and that's make it very clean.
They're so precise in the synchronization. It's really, really impressive to watch. Big scores here. The 10 gets taken out. We're keeping the top 3 scores in the synchronization and 1 score for each execution judge. Team China takes the lead. Last dive of this round, Jack Law and Anthony Harding from Great Britain. Following up with a back dive pike.
That was good. That was good. I feel like the quality of the entry was a little bit more splash, especially from Jack.
A little
right
bit
here.
soft even.
Yes, yes. Especially compared to the team, the Chinese team that just did the same dive right before.
All the muscles in the body have to be very tight when you enter the water. 8.5s for execution, 8.5s as well for synchronization, 51 points. And that's worth a tap on the back from Jack Law with his partner. Here are the standings after round 1. 55.80 is enough to put China in the lead. Great Britain in second, Italy in third. One more round of the compulsory dives. 2.0 degree of difficulty, no matter what you decide to do. Here comes Team United States of America. Greg Duncan and Tyler Downs. And they've chosen a forward 1.5 pike position. Once again, opting to add a flip when they could be doing just a simple front dive. Whatever works for them.
And it does work for them.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Just to be picky once again, Greg, who's on the left, was a little bit faster in his rotation. Right here, you can see that his speed was before his synchro partner, but the quality of the entry was very good.
Very elegant, straight legs, nice pointed feet. It's one of the parts of diving that I love very much. 8.5, 8s for synchronization, 9 and 7.5 for execution. Here come the Spanish team. They will be doing a reverse dive pike position.
Okay, we got scared there,
Yes.
but I think Arturo is used to that though, okay? So you will be able to see that Andrian, who is on the left, his feet was out of the board, so that puts him into trouble, but he remains calm and was able to save his dive.
And you know exactly how to describe this exact situation because I've seen you do
Yes, yes.
that exact thing on the same dive.
Yes, exactly the same thing, but he managed it better than me.
Good save on this one, 7.5 for synchronization, 8 and 7.5 for execution. Could have been a lot worse for the Spanish team. There's always an extra stress on the reverse dive
Yes,
pike.
I didn't like it.
Well, good thing for the Germans, that's not the dive they're going to be doing. They will go with an inward dive pike position. Lars Rudiger and Timo Bartel.
Beautiful. I really love the quality of the entry for both of the diver. Their timing, when they went off the board, it was very good. They pike together, they open at the same time, and they were super tight to get a very clean entry. No splash.
I like that they really look like they're going for it. They're showing a lot of energy. 8.5 for synchronization, 8.5 for execution.
And it can be hard to really go for it when you do compulsory, smaller dives.
It's really a thing of finesse to be able to show off your energy, but also completely in control.
Yes.
Team Ukraine follows up with a back dive in the pike position. Still 2.0 degree of difficulty for every dive in this round.
That was good. Again, a little distraction when Oleg, who is on the right, touched his feet. A beautiful crowd from Ukraine.
The Ukrainian fans are happy with this dive.
Yeah, so right here you can see that Oleg on the right didn't touch his toe, and he kept a little bit pike position instead of completely extend to get that entry.
And they have two different styles of diving, and that's very apparent for the judges.
Yes.
8s, 8.5s for synchronization, 7.5, 8 for execution for 48 points. Up next, Lee Shishin, Samuel Fricker from Australia. They'll be doing a reverse dive pike position.
Good save, right? We both, again, that reverse dive, there's something about that dive. We were able to see a distraction here that Lee was lower, but somehow was lower at the beginning, but higher at the end. So that was interesting.
Well, the movement of the board makes it sometimes that if you take more time pushing down, you're able to catch up in the air. So,
and also his synchro partner, he's much taller than him, so sometimes you need to adjust to that too.
Australia currently in 5th position after 2 dives. Joel Rodriguez, the coach from Mexico, has been in Australia for quite some time now. Up next, Team Italy, Giovanni Tocci and Lorenzo Marsaglia, also doing a reverse dive pike.
That was a great save. I don't know if you noticed, Alex, but Giovanni, who is on the right, he was back of the board. So right here, he jumped back. So that makes the board harder to push. So he really needs to give it out to be synchronized with Lorenzo.
To be able to jump as high as possible, just like his partner.
Yes. But sometimes you can see your synchro partner. So when you see that he's in trouble, you can manage to adapt to your partner.
8s for execution, 8s and 8.5 for synchronization for Team Italy. Here come the French, Alexis Gendard and Jules Boyer. Also doing the reverse dive pike.
Little distraction on the distance.
Oh my God.
Alexis was a little closer than Jules.
Jules Bouillet in this dive is about a foot behind the board. That makes it very difficult to stay in control.
And especially when it's a reverse dive that you have to go back to the board. When you're back, you want to push out to make sure that you're in a safe position.
7, 7.5 for synchronization, 7 and 8 for execution. Quite a bit of damage control on this one.
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, that dive is a special one.
It's very tricky.
It's
Here come the Japanese. And they're following the trend with a reverse dive pike position.
beautiful. I really love the work for the quality of the entry. Making no splash. It was super simple. A lot of finesse right here with the arm straight. Right here, no distraction, pike position tight. They came out at the same time and they grabbed their hands for the entry.
Making it seem very easy. 8.5s and 9 for synchronization. 8.5 and 8 on the execution side for 51 points. Very good round for the Japanese. And the coach agrees. Here comes Team China, following with the reverse dive pike as well.
Beautiful. I would have appreciated for the diver on the left to be closer on his pike, especially when we talk about smaller dives like this. You want to be close to your pike position. Right here, he barely touched his foot, and for me, that was a distraction.
The pike position does happen very quickly for the diver further away from us here in this view.
Yes, and the entry was a little bit heavier.
Makes it seem like he's not fully in control of the speed. Still an excellent dive here, 56.40 for the Chinese team, who are comfortably sitting in the lead.
Team Great Britain, 301B, reverse dive, pike position.
We're gonna round up with the British team, also doing a reverse dive pike. Wow.
Beautiful, so simple, and that's what I was talking about when I love to see when the pike position is super tight. Right here, we can see that they both touch barely their nose to their knees, and then they were in total control of the dive. They came out at the same time and they grabbed their position to get that entry.
And Jack Law on the left of your screen here is a very powerful diver, so his partner Anthony really has to work hard to get to the same height.
Yes.
And he does it very well. 9.5 and 9s for synchronization. The judges enjoyed that one. Here are the results after 2 rounds. 3 teams over 100 points. That is China, Great Britain, and Japan. The work is cut out for the rest of the field. And here come the much harder dives. Very, very high degree of difficulties coming up in the next few rounds. Here are the leaders in a very good mood, all smiles, thinking about the next dive. Team Great Britain communicating what's going to be happening in the next few rounds. Also saying hello to their friends. Let's get going with the 3rd round now. Team USA of Greg Duncan and Tyler Downs. Tyler Downs, only 20 years of age. Starting to gain experience on this circuit. They will be doing a forward 2.5, 2 twists, pike position, 3.4 degree of difficulty.
Starting the big dives.
Oh, yes.
Okay, good save, good save. I don't know about you, but I got scared with Tyler.
Is that why you grabbed my arm here?
Yeah. Yes, it was, because he was very at the end of the board. But sometimes that can be good to really get the momentum. So they both had a great speed, and their twist position was super tight, and they get that beautiful dive done.
8, 8.5 for synchronization, 7 and 8 for execution. At this point, most of the divers will be just a little bit more nervous.
You know, sometimes when you're at the end of the board, it's very important to not panic.
Stick to your technique, stick to the movements you know how to do well.
Yes.
Here come the Spanish team now. Their 3rd round dive will be a forward 3.5 somersaults, pike position. 3.1 degree of difficulty.
Okay, so that was good quality of individual, but unfortunately the synchronization was a little bit off timing. And one of the diver who is on the right was spinning faster than the other one. And that creates a distraction for the judges.
Here come the scores for the Spanish team. Artur Miranda, Domenico Rinaldi of Italy now in Spain. They're happy with this round of dives for the Spanish. Timo Bartel, Lars Rudiger, they will be doing a forward 2.5 with 2 twists. Pike position.
Oh, that was a beautiful save from Timo Bartel. He's gonna be close to his synchro partner, and you know what? It's very hard for that dive, and especially for his synchro partner to not panic and not focus about him.
On this next look here, we'll see he's on the complete side of the board, has to battle very hard, keep his composure, and he manages to do so and complete the dive, but that will affect the synchronized scores, 5 and 6.5, which is quite the gap between the scores, 5 and 6.5 on the same dive. It means that the judges weren't exactly sure how to judge it.
Maybe they got impressed by the fact that he still got it.
Some of them did, for sure. Up next, Oleg Kolodi and Danilo Konovalov, and they will be doing an inward 3.5 somersaults, tuck position. Missed opportunity here.
Big miss from Danilo. He went past the vertical. Right here, we can see that he's gonna land on his back. He unfortunately came out way too late from his tuck position, and he kept his head in, and that's the reason why he couldn't control his entry.
Really have to line your eyes towards the water so your arms are in the right position and you stop that rotation. Big miss here for Team Ukraine. 36-year-old Li Shixin and Samuel Fricker from Australia with an inward 2.5 pike position.
Smaller dive, but sometimes it can be much better in the synchronization.
Less risky.
And there you go. That's what I was talking about. Sometimes it's better to do a smaller dive, but have a great synchronization compared to adding a flip and having more risky. So right here, they both were super tight in their pike position, and they were in plenty control to come out at the same time and then have a beautiful entry.
8 and 7.5 for execution, 7.5s for synchronization. No big mistake, very steady so far. The Italians follow up in this third round with a forward 3.5 somersaults, pike position, 3.1 degree of difficulty. Not a very demanding dive for them.
It's not demanding, but it can be tricky because if one of the other is in trouble on the board, if I can say it like that, you can see a difference. And we will see it there that Lorenzo was a little bit lower than Giovanni.
On the right of the screen.
On the right of the screen, right here, he was lower than his synchro partner, and the judges will deduct for that.
Good control at the end. 8s for synchronization, 8 and 8.5 for execution. I feel like the judges were a bit lenient on that one. They were nice to them.
Yes.
Here come the French now with an inward 3.5 somersaults, tuck position, 3.4 degree of difficulty.
Okay. Whew.
I got a little nervous on this one.
Me too. I got scared a little bit on that one. And usually when people are close to the board, we will see that Jules, who is on the left, on the right, sorry, is a little bit close to the board. And the judges usually don't like that, and they will deduct from that.
The normal distance is just over a foot from the board is what the judges want to see. So anywhere inside of that or outside, they will be deducting, and we can see it happen here with a 5 for execution and 6.
I think they are saying that they should have go for the entry instead of hesitating. Sometimes it can be hard to not get distracted by it.
By the fact that you feel close to the board. Here come the Japanese team with a forward 3.5 somersaults, pike position. Oh, very interesting.
Very interesting because they were both in trouble. One of them was more back and the other one was on this side, on the side. So if you look, the one on the right was on the side and the one on the left of the screen was on the side of the board. But it's very important to keep calm and not get distracted by it because that's an easy dive for them.
And this is the challenge on the springboard event, just the movement of the board. You can do those repetitions hundreds and hundreds of times. When you get into competition mode, the nerves set in, everything can change.
Everything. Every hurdle are different.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it's important to tell people that we do see our Synchro partners. So if they're in trouble, we can see it.
We can feel it
We can also feel it, yes.
Dao Long and Zhongyan Wang. They'll be kicking off the third round with a forward 2.5, 2 twists. Pike position, 3.4 degree of difficulty.
Beautiful.
Something caught my eye here, but I'm not sure what.
I feel like, once again, the diver on the left was a little bit more back right here and on the side, but he didn't panic, he didn't let that distraction, and he went for it, and the Synchro was very good.
Chinese team, very typical of them to have that good entry in the water. Big scores here, 9s for synchronization, 9 and 8.5 for execution.
The springboard event is a very technical competition, so I feel like once you have that technical side, if you have little mistake, you can always relate on it and you can barely make mistakes.
Here comes Great Britain now, Anthony Harding and Jack Law, and they will be doing the exact same dive. Very different from what we just saw from the Chinese team. The technique is not at all the same.
Not at all. And I don't know if you would have been able to do that, but they barely touched their foot. They barely grabbed their pike position right here. They right away grab barely their pike position and go into their twist position. So it's a different technique.
It's a very unique technique, yes.
But it seems to work fine for them.
83.64 for the dive. Very big score for the British team.
They usually do that when they add 3 twists.
And let me see here in the information that I have, they will be adding a twist further on into the competition. All right, here are the standings after 3 dives. China in the lead, followed by Great Britain. Japan now in 3rd place. Very tight scores to be close to that podium so far, but lots of diving left with 3 rounds of very difficult diving coming up. Here are the leaders in full control of this event. People's Republic of China. Here's a look at some of their previous dives. Such finesse, such precision in each movement. There you can see it. That's their second dive right there. And no matter the degree of difficulty, they're in full control so far in this men's 3-meter synchronized final. The Chinese fans are loving the show. Very, very big contingency here.
Team United States of America, performing 407C.
Tiny bit of a delay happening right now.
So Alex, you were competing on that event.
I did the 3-meter synchronized event for quite some time with Artur Miranda, who is coaching the Spanish team right now. So I know a little bit about it. Here come the United States. Greg Duncan, Tyler Downs with an inward 3.5 tuck position.
Okay, that was good.
The
But
same mistake for both divers.
But sometimes that can get paid by the judges because we want to be synchro. So both of them, they had a great tuck position. Both of them come out too late from their position, which make them roll over on their backs.
And the divers have to be very aware of what's going on, how many flips they are, and you can see it in the synchronized scores, 7.5, 8.5. A little bit difficult for the judges to be aligned together on this one. They got to brush this one off, come back stronger in the next round. Nicolas Garcia Boissier, Adrian Abadia from Spain, doing a forward 2.5, 2 twists, pike position.
That was good, beautiful, a lot of energy.
I was just gonna say, I love that what they're transcending to the judges.
So you can see that Adrian that is on the right was a little bit over, but he worked that entry and he make it not a disaster. It could have been worse.
They're really going for it,
Yes.
and that shows a lot. 8s for synchronization, 6.5, 7.5 for execution. Arturo knows right here there was just a little bit missing on this dive, but still good performance.
On springboard, it's always hard to really give it all, but at the same time, not too much, because sometimes with the nerve, if you give too much, it can put you into trouble.
The adrenaline is a big factor on the springboard event.
Yes.
With that little extra power, it's different from what you've trained all the time before. Here comes Germany now with a reverse 1.5, 3.5 twists, 3.5 degree of difficulty.
That was good, beautiful.
Such a beautiful dive to watch.
It looks simple, but it's not. It's not that simple. So what we want to see there, it's very like finesse. So when you go into your twist, you want to grab that twist very tight and be in control on that dive. They come out at the same time. Timo, who is on the left, was a little bit, his entry was a little bit bigger, but in general, was a great dive.
High degree of difficulty, helps for the point, 78.75 on this one. Team Ukraine up next with a very big dive, 3.8 degree of difficulty for a forward 4.5 somersaults tuck. That is very, very demanding.
You know.
I know exactly what I'm talking about.
That's a good save, because you just mentioned it, that dive is very demanding. So the diver on the left was in trouble. He jumped to the side, and it's very hard to get that power of the board, but I felt like he really managed to finish that dive.
It's almost like both of them were focused on themselves instead of the synchronization on the dive, and the scores speak for themselves. 6 is 6.5 for synchronization, Same for the execution. They'll have to get back into the same rhythm. Team Australia now opting for a simpler dive with a forward 3.5 somersaults, pike position. A safer option. Li Shixin and Samuel Fricker.
As we mentioned it a little bit earlier, sometimes it's better to play safe, to minimize the risk and get and you get more points. So you can see that both divers had beautiful pikes, their timing were great, and the quality of the entry was there too.
Also, two completely different styles of diving here, so that's an extra challenge for them. 8.5 for synchronization, 6.5 and 8.5 for execution. Staying positive.
It's important.
Absolutely. Giovanni Tocci, Lorenzo Marsaglia. They're following up with a forward 2.5, 2 twists, pike position.
Big distraction here in the timing, synchronization. I feel like Giovanni, who is on the right, he went faster than compared to Lorenzo.
He was also in trouble being far back from the end of the board, so he has to work a lot harder to get going.
And when you're two strong divers, it's very hard to catch up, especially when someone is in a good position.
72.42 on the dive. Coaching staff knows that they can do better than this.
I remember when I used to do that dive beside Frankie, who is a male diver.
In the mixed synchro.
In the mixed synchro, I had no chance to miss.
Maybe that's the extra pressure you needed.
Yes.
To succeed on the dive.
This is how I learned how to do that dive.
There you go. Synchronized diving can be very helpful for that sometimes. Here come the French now with a forward 3.5 pike.
Once again, I feel like the men's are afraid to jump to the end of the board. So Alexi, who is on the left, was back and on the side, but you can get distracted by that, and that's the reason why we can see a distraction in the timing right there.
And when you're on that position on the board, it just makes you rush through the technique to get into that rotation. So with more experience, you learn to keep your calm and really keep your composure.
And especially that it doesn't need to be in a good position to make that dive.
It's not such a difficult dive to accomplish. They're still happy with the result. Here come Haruki Suyama and Yuto Araki from Japan. They will be doing a front 2.5, 2 twists. Pike position.
Beautiful.
I love their technique.
Yes. Like Japanese people are known for their technique. Like they have really beautiful line. They both went into their pike. They did a twist position very tight, and they went for the entry. And just to be picky, the quality of the entry could have been cleaner, but in general, it was a very beautiful dive.
Here come the scores: 7.5, 8, 8.5 for synchronization, 7 and 8 for the execution. You can see the facial expressions here. They know that there is a tiny little bit missing to make this dive even better.
And to get that wow factor.
Yes. Team China now with a reverse 1.5, 3.5 twists. .5 degree of difficulty, very high.
beautiful. Alex, to be honest with you, I tried that dive. And it demands so much calm and technique because it's not a very hard dive, but you need to be in total control, and they just show how in control they were. They grabbed their twist position, they waited, they came out from their twist at the same time to get that beautiful entry.
And it's only 1.5 rotation, so they're jumping very, very high, so you have to be in full control at that moment.
Yes. You can rush to get into that twist.
9.5s will say enough for synchronization. 9.5 on the execution side of it. Very big scores for the Chinese team. Last dive of the round, Great Britain going ahead with an inward 3.5 somersaults tuck.
Wow.
Very nice.
Very nice. The British people are known for their strength, and that's what I love. You can see that both of them really push that board and get that momentum to jump high, grab their tuck position, and spin at the same time and come out at the same time to get that entry.
And I'm glad you mentioned the work that they do on the board. They really use it 100%, making sure they take away everything they can to get as high as possible. 87.72 is the score for the dive. That's definitely worth a smile.
I would have been happy.
China in full control here with 301.68 points. Great Britain in second. Japan third. Trailing not too far behind are the United States of America. 2 more rounds now in this competition. Everything's attainable to reach that podium. Coaching staff is very relaxed.
Yes, but at that time, you don't want to laugh no more because the big dives are coming.
A lot more big degree of difficulty coming in the next 2 rounds.
You don't want to lose focus.
And I think that becomes a challenge for such a dominant team. The one that is China, of course, is you can't get comfortable in the lead because we've seen it in the past. There's been mistakes. If I think back to the Sydney Olympic or Athens Olympic Games in 2004, the Chinese team made a monster mistake and they lost the podium completely, so they have to be in full control. Big dive here for the United States. Greg Duncan, Tyler Downs with a reverse 3.5 tuck position.
That could have been a pretty good, yeah, they had it. But you know what? I felt like the diver, who is Tyler on the left, hesitated a bit because he was in trouble, and that's the reason why he didn't win for his entry, but he had the chance to do it.
Could be a lack of experience, missing a little bit of confidence to go 100% here.
Yes.
7s for synchronization, 6 and 6 for execution. Lots of potential for this team, I find.
Very young team, but they have a good potential.
Here comes the Spanish team, Nicolas Garcia-Boissier, Adrian Abadia. They will be doing an inward 2.5 pike position. Tiny little details here. They're not synchronized to get to the end of the board.
For me, it would have been a distraction.
As soon as the judge, the referee whistles, everything must be synchronized.
Okay, little mistake from the Spanish team. I feel like the quality of the entry could have been much better than that, and especially the timing also. You can see that the diver on the left is lower than the diver on the right.
It felt like they let go before the end of the dive.
Well, sometimes when you don't walk together, it feels like you're not in control of the event. You're not synced with your partner.
67.50 on the dive. Domenico Rinaldi here, getting into the precise details on what just happened.
The chemistry with your synchro partner is very important, especially in that event.
It's all about compromise, right? You have to make some sacrifices for your partner and vice versa. Team Germany now with the reverse 3.5 somersaults. Tuck position.
Wow, that was good.
Beautiful.
Yes, and I love how they use that board. We mentioned it a little bit earlier that it's very important to use the board to get the maximum of height. They both jumped super high and they went for it. They tucked. Their speed of rotation was the same. They came out. The quality of the entry could have been cleaner, less splash, but in general, it was a great dive.
7.5 eighths for synchro, 7.5 for execution. Little details to improve on here, but they're a powerful team.
Little details make all the difference, and sometimes a difference between a 9 or 7.5, it's those little details.
Team Ukraine will be doing the exact same dive for a 3.5 degree of difficulty.
Great save.
Good work here, yes.
Great save. I thought it was the diver on the left was gonna land on his back, but he did work that entry out. So you can see here he was in trouble on the side once again. His tuck position was very big, so that makes him spin slower.
And the important thing for him on this dive is to pay attention to the water going by 3 times, putting his feet in the right spot when he comes out of the tuck position. Hard work on this one for Team Ukraine, but it paid off in the end.
So many things to think when you're a diver, but in a few seconds. So sometimes it's very important to be in the present.
Team Australia now, Li Shixin, Samuel Fricker. And their fifth dive, is going to be an inward 3.5 tuck position.
Beautiful. The quality of the entry was there. A little distraction in the synchronized diving, and we will see right there that Lee was, once again, I said that earlier a little bit, he has to adjust himself to the height of his synchro partner because he's much taller, so he has to go a little bit lower than him.
Also, Li Shixin is 36 years old here.
We can give him a chance.
We're trying to give him a chance. 8.5 for synchronization. Good effort from the Australians.
So in 2012, I used to dive beside Emily, and she was much taller than that.
Emily Haymans.
Yes, so we had to adjust ourselves to that.
Here come the Italians now. They will be doing the same dive for a 3.4 degree of difficulty. Oh, big miss.
Big miss for the Italian team. You can see once again that Giovanni was using more his board and Lorenzo was lower than Giovanni. Right here we can see it. And also Giovanni, who is on the right past the vertical, so created a big splash.
Execution is 7 and 5.5. Synchronization 7s. You could see the coach
talking about the timing.
Letting them know the timing was off right from the beginning. I never enjoyed spending too much time on a big mistake during a competition. Just have to move on.
You like to move on, yes.
Think about the next dive.
Yes, because you're already mad and you don't want to create more madness.
Jules Bouillet and Alexis Gendard. They'll be doing a forward 2.5, 2 twist.
Great dive, great dive.
Great control.
Yes, like I said, I really do feel that the people who are diving on the board on the left one They don't want to be at the end. Maybe it's the board is softer.
It's happening quite a lot, eh?
Yeah, so the timing was very good. They twist together, but unfortunately, Alexis was lower than Jules.
And we can't say it enough. It's so difficult when you're so far behind from the end of the board to go get as much height as possible. 75.48. No big mistake here, but they know they can do better than that.
You mentioned a little bit earlier that once you finish a dive, you like to move on. And I feel like that comes with experience, because when you're young, you want to have that feedback. But when you're older and you have that experience, you know what you did wrong.
No need to dwell on it. Here come the Japanese team now. Haruki Suyama, Yoto Araki. They'll be doing an inward 3.5 somersaults tuck.
Big distraction on the distance. The diver on the right was a little bit more far, and the diver on the left was closer to the board. Plus, the quality of the entry, he passed both of them passed the vertical, so that created a big splash at the end.
They would have needed just a little bit more height to be able to complete the dive in a more comfortable way. 70.38 on this one. All smiles for Team Japan. One more dive to go for them. We will see the same dive from Team China. Zongyuan Wang, Dao Yilong, 3.4 degree of difficulty. Every movement done at the exact same time here.
Beautiful. They really, both of them used all the energy from the board. They jumped, they speed at the same time, and they came out. I would have appreciated to see the point, the toe are pointed there. I would have deducted from that, but let's see if the judges saw it.
I love elegance. This is something that catches my eye right away as well. But the precision in the technique, finding that vertical, big scores. 9.5 for synchronization, 9.5 for execution. So I guess the point and toes were not a factor for the judges.
Well, you know what? He got a 9.5, and maybe if his maybe if his toes were pointed, he would have get 10.
One more dive in this round, and it's a big one from the British team. Forward 4.5 in the tuck position. 3.8 degree of difficulty, the biggest dive in this competition.
That was very good. They both hesitated for the quality of the entry. They didn't totally went for it. But synchronization here, they both were at the same speed, but they came out a little bit too early. They probably anticipate that entry.
And they really managed to go get that height. So it should not be a problem for them to complete and find that vertical. They have to be more aggressive chasing the water here. They'll be penalized on the individual side, 6 and 7.5, 8.5s and 8s for synchronization, and that degree of difficulty really helped them to get a big score on that one. China still in the lead, 34 points ahead of the British team of Jack Law and Anthony Harding. Japan in third, and 4 points behind is Germany. It's going to be decided on the last dive here, who gets to be on the podium. Still in control, coach is in a great mood, waving to the crowd, waving to the fans.
You can be in a great mood when you have such an advancement on points.
But with such great talent and great divers comes a lot of expectation from the coaching staff as well.
And that could be a distraction too.
Of course. All right, sixth and last round of dives kicking off here. Tyler Downs and Greg Duncan of the United States of America with a reverse 1.5, 3.5 twist.
Once again, to execute that dive really good, you need a perfect technique. Yeah, so a little mistake for the quality of the entry there. I felt like Tyler got distracted by his synchro partner who was on the side of the board, and they jumped really close. Right here, he was on the side, and when you do a twist position, sometimes you have the tendency to move to the side.
Move sideways.
Sideways, so that could be a distraction.
7.5 in eighths for synchronization, 6.5, 7 for execution. They're a young team. They have lots of time to gain some experience. Well-deserved smiles here. Here come the Spanish team, Adrian Abadia and Nicolas Garcia Boissier. And they'll be doing the exact same dive for a 3.5 degree of difficulty.
Very nice. Very nice. The coaches are very happy, and there's a reason why. One of the diver on the left of the screen, his feet was out of the board, but he managed to gain his calm and then not panic, and he went for the technique. The twist position was very good, and they were in total control.
Very energetic team here. Arturo Miranda very happy with his divers. 82.95 on this one. Well-deserved hug at the end of the event. Good job for the Spanish team. Outstanding dive to finish off for the Germans with a forward 4.5 somersaults in the tuck position. 3.8 degree of difficulty.
That's so unfortunate, because that was a good opportunity for them to nail that dive and get that podium. But unfortunately, Timo, who is on the left, his feet was out of the board, and he probably panicked for that, and that's the reason why he couldn't make that dive.
The front 4.5 tuck is difficult for any diver, but those two are very tall, so it's an even harder challenge for them to accomplish this one.
It's hard because it's longer for them to grab that position and get that speed and then nail that dive.
They got some help with the high degree of difficulty, 72.96 on this one. They're disappointed with their last dive. Oleg Kolodyi and Danilo Konovalov of Ukraine. And they'll end the competition with a back 2.5, 1.5 twist. 3.4 degree of difficulty. A very uncommon dive to see on the 3-meter springboard.
A dive that demands a lot of power. That was good.
Well executed.
Yes, well executed. I feel like Danilo, who is on the left, had too much speed rotation and couldn't control, so that's the reason why he passed the vertical. But in general, the timing was very good.
They don't jump very high for this one, but they create a lot of speed in the rotation to complete the dive. 73.44. Danilo happy with his performance. He's the younger diver in this Ukrainian team. Team Australia setting up now for a forward 2.5, 2-twist pike position. Li Shishin and Samuel Fricker. All 4 of the Australian coaches watching very closely.
Beautiful dive in I'm talking about the quality of the dive. Individual was very good. Unfortunately, they will have to work a little bit more on their timing because we can see a very big distraction, and for sure the judges will deduct for that.
And from the beginning, we noticed that the style of diving is completely different for these two, but sometimes in certain countries, you got to deal with the divers that you have, right? Good finish for the Australians, 79.56, and a very consistent performance from them. Here comes the Italian team. Giovanni Tocci, Lorenzo Marsaglia. They go with a high-risk dive here to finish off with a front 4.5 in the tuck position. Very nice.
Very nice. Well execution. Lorenzo, who is on the left, you'll see that his feet was on the side of the board, so he was in trouble backward also from the board. So that creates that's even harder for them to have the momentum at the board and have that speed. But that was their chance to really.
Funny reaction from the Americans here. They know how hard it is to do that in that position.
Yes.
Good scores here, 7.5, 8, 8.5 in synchronization, 6.5 and 7. The high degree of difficulty helps them a lot on this one.
And sometimes that's the reason why we kept them at the end. So it's our chance for us to really nail that dive and maybe get a chance to be on the podium.
When you're in a situation when you need a lot of points at the end, that's the kind of dive you want to do. Team France now with the reverse 1.5, 3.5 twists. 3.5 degree of difficulty.
That was very well executed. I know we can see that Clément's face she's very happy. We really need to be good on the technique, and Alexis, who is on the left, was on the side of the board, but he didn't react to that, went into his position, he trusts his technique, and he executed his dive very well.
Very impressed with his composure throughout this event because he was in a bad position on many occasions, and they ended off with 86.10. Strong dive to finish the event. And we'll be seeing the exact same dive from the Japanese pair.
I thought that was gonna go in. I'm pretty sure his coach is very happy. The synchronized was very good. Both of them, they put their arms up. They went into their twist, they come out at the same time. Just the quality of the entry could have been a little bit more clean right here.
They make it look very easy, effortless. I really enjoy watching that. Great score for the Japanese. They're really thrilled with that performance. Also to finish the event with a score of 84 points on the last dive. The coaches are happy as well. And they've just gone past Italy.
People's Republic of China.
Here are the leaders in this event. Zongyuan Wang, Dao Yilong. They also go risky at the end with a forward 4.5 somersaults tuck.
See,
they're human.
Yes, they are human. That was a big mistake for them, even though it was a great dive. The diver on the left, you will see he was very back on the board. So that makes the board very hard, but he has his technique is so good that he can relate on that and still finish that dive.
Running out of just a tiny little bit of space to fully complete the dive and fully stretch his body before getting into the water. But they had such a big advance that they will keep it. And they still managed to get 94.62 on this one. No one can catch them in this event. So Jen, I was caught in a lie. Earlier I told you that the 3.8 degree of difficulty for a front 4.5 somersaults was the biggest dive. This is what it's going to be, the biggest dive in this event. Front 2.5, 3 twist pike position, 3.9 degree of difficulty. Just massive. Big mistake for the British team.
Big mistake for Anthony. Jack was very good. His dive was very good, but unfortunately, Anthony missed his dive. You really need all that power of the board. You need to wait for it. It demands a lot of strength.
And they also don't get into the pike position very much at the beginning. This could have helped to get more rotation,
more speed,
and give themselves a chance to complete the dive. 79.56, that's considered a miss for them at the end of this event. Good enough to be happy.
Yes, they're finishing the second.
Here are the standings at the end of the men's 3-meter synchronized event. China in first, Great Britain in second, Japan hold on to third place, Italy in fourth. We saw some great diving, a lot of high-level dives here. And you can see it's never over until the end.
Never, never.
But the bigger the degree of difficulty is, the more margin of error you have, because what we do is we add up the scores together, multiply by the degree of difficulty. So if it's so high, which is what we've seen here in this event, gives you a chance to make tiny little mistakes every once in a while. This was also another great showing. Year after the Olympic Games, year before the Olympic Games, I should say, all the teams trying to get in sync, preparing for Paris 2024 coming up next year. World Championships as well this summer. Jennifer, always a pleasure. It's weird calling you by your full name.
Yes, I was like, Jennifer, that's me. Yes,
we'll
always
be back with more diving tomorrow. All of the individual finals will be showcased and the team event as well. See you then.
Montreal, please welcome the medal ceremony for the men's 3-meter synchro championship final.
Montréal, veuillez accueillir la cérémonie des médailles pour l'épreuve synchronisée des hommes au tremplin de 3 mètres.
The bronze medal and gift will be presented by
Les médailles de bronze et cadeaux seront remis par
President of the Ukrainian Diving Federation,
Président de la Fédération nationale de plongeon de l'Ukraine,
Igor Lisov. The silver medals and gifts will be presented by
Les médailles d'argent et cadeaux seront remis par
member of the World Aquatics Technical Diving Committee,
membre du comité technique de plongeon de World Aquatics,
Eric Brooker. The gold medals and gifts will be presented by
Les médailles d'or et cadeaux seront remis par
member of the World Aquatics Technical Diving Committee,
membre du comité technique de plongeon de World Aquatics,
Colleen Huffman. The winners of the bronze medal,
gagnant de la médaille de bronze,
representing Japan,
représentant le Japon,
Haruki Suyama Yuto Araki. The winners of the silver medal,
gagnant de la médaille d'argent,
representing Great Britain,
représentant la Grande-Bretagne,
Jack Law Anthony Harding. The winners of the gold medal and World Aquatics Diving World Cup champions,
gagnant de la médaille d'or et champion de la Coupe du Monde World Aquatics de plongeon,
representing People's Republic of China,
représentant la République populaire de Chine,
Long Dai and Wang Zhongguan. World Cup medalists, the podium is yours. Diving fans, please stand if you are able for the national anthem of the People's Republic of China.
Amateurs de plongeon, veuillez vous lever si vous le pouvez pour l'hymne national de la République populaire de Chine. faites du bruit pour vos médaillés de cette Coupe du monde de plongeon.
Diving fans, thank you for attending today's competition. You can see a highlight reel, video montage put together for your viewing pleasure. We would sincerely like to thank you for attending today's event. Hope to see you tomorrow. Some amazing competitions today and even more impressive individual and the team final tomorrow in our events. Thank you. Merci.
回答观众的。
你回答观众的嘛。
对，
All right. He'll count you in.
就所有的赛季是吗？
对，今年年度赛季
世锦赛呀，
大概有什么安排啊？下一步的安排。Thank you. Thank you.
At this stage of the season, how does that performance rank for you?
感觉整个今年的赛季安排来说，其实都很多，然后间歇呢也是非常近的。然后呢，我们这场比赛结束以后，也是准备备战世锦赛。世锦赛结束以后就是世界杯，然后还有我们的亚运会，然后可能时间会有一些紧凑，也是对我们也是一种挑战吧，因为时间很紧，然后怎么样去调整各方面的能力啊、技术方面自己要学会去调整，这也是对我们来说是一个挑战。
So they have a lot of major competitions this year. After this World Cup, they had got the World Championships, and then the Super Final, and then the Asian Games. So today's is a big victory, and after this, they will pay much attention to the following events one by one.
And here at Parc Olympique, there were a lot of fans cheering you on, a lot of Chinese flags up in the stands. What was that like for you?
就是我觉得，异国他乡，然后今天能有这么多的这个，国人来看我们比赛，我觉得是一种动力，然后激励着我们表现，我们拿出我们最好的水平，然后展现给大家。
So when we are abroad, we can see quite a lot of familiar faces of the Chinese fans and friends. They give us a lot of energy and power to pursue this event, and we thank them a lot.
Congratulations to you both.
OK。还有吗？
没有。